Well, the Heat trailed the Cleveland Cavaliers in their round one playoff series 2-0 after the 121 to 112 loss on Wednesday evening. And on today's show, we are going to look at the latest news and rumors after that loss. I am Nic Rohloff. This is the Heat Report by Chat Sports, and it really was a unfortunate loss for the Miami Heat. It looked like they were going to get blown out of the building in the first half when the Cavaliers went nuclear with that second quarter, but then they battled all the way back, made it a two-score game with under 5 minutes to go, and actually got it to a 2-point game with 5 minutes to go. And were unable to get the job done because they were unable to defend late. And that's really been the story in this series. If the Heat were to win this series, a lot of us believed it was going to be because of their defense. Andrew Wiggins, Davion Mitchell, Bam, Ware, Highsmith, and company. Well, that's been the thing that's let them down the most, with the Cavaliers scoring 121 points in each of the first two games, especially late in games where Donovan Mitchell actually rattled off 10 points by himself to put the game out of reach for the Cavaliers and get the win at home. We're going to talk about Tyler Herro and some adjustments needed, but listen, the Heat have the series and season on the line in Game 3 on Saturday. If you want to turn the vibes around and see the Heat get a victory to make it a 2-1 series, don't jinx it. Hit that thumbs up icon. Can't hurt. Get the vibes turned around. I want to talk about Tyler Herro because after Game 2, Darius Garland was incredibly disrespectful to the Heat's top scorer and lone all-star this season. He was asked by reporters what's been the key for success for this team late in games and on the offensive end, and he said the key to beating the Miami Heat is pick on Tyler Herro defensively. I can't believe he said that to the public. Even if it is true, I do not see it often where in the middle of a series, they openly and blatantly say that to the media. But it's hard to get upset at what Garland had to say because it's been the God's honest truth. Through the first two games of the series, when the Cavaliers have gone at Tyler Herro, they are shooting 21 of 33, which is 63.6% from the field. Unfortunately, Tyler Herro has been fried chicken on the defensive end. And it gets even worse when you look at the game-by-game breakdown. He's been an absolute liability on the defensive end. And it's unfortunate because he had 33 points and was shooting extremely efficient in Game 2, scoring 50% more of his shots. But defensively, in Game 1, 12 of 16 when targeted, gave up 29 points. And in Game 2, it wasn't that much better with 53% from the field, 45% from three, and 27 points in total. It's unfortunate because he's your best offensive player, but you simply just can't have this. Like, if we're going to be honest, for the Heat to win this series, they need to be much better defensively. But when Herro is on the floor, they are constantly getting targeted with Herro, and he is constantly getting blown by or giving up step-back wide-open threes, and it's just been unacceptable. The downside is, though, when you take him off the floor, the Heat's offense can't even get a good look because he's the only threat that the Heat have off the dribble and able to create his own shot. So it's a double-edged sword here for Miami to where you leave him on the floor, you're getting cooked defensively. You take him off, you can't score. It's a serious issue that I think goes more back to the team building that the Miami Heat currently have, which is the exact reason they're 37-45 in the regular season, and they were the 10th seed and shouldn't have even made the playoffs from the very beginning. But be honest with me. Do you blame Tyler Herro for the Heat's 2 losses in this series? Type Y for yes, type N for no. Let me know your thoughts down in the comment section. But I want to show more evidence about Tyler Herro on how poorly it has been. Through the first 2 games of the series, Herro has been the screen defender. What does that mean? Well, it means that the person setting the ball screen for the ball handler has been defended by Herro, a.k.a. they're trying to get a switch, whether it's Max Strus setting the screen, whether it's Darius Garland setting the screen for Donovan Mitchell, whether it's Isaac Okoro setting the screen. Either way, they are coming up, screening for Garland or Mitchell to get Herro switched on to one of those 2 lead guards because the Heat switch everything. It's been 50 times. The Cavs are averaging 1.2 points per possession on those 50 pick-and-roll opportunities. Like I keep on saying, that can't happen on the defensive end. So what is the solution here? Well, you either have to blitz the ball handler and then have Herro sprint back to his man and then the person defending Garland or Mitchell get back to them and you run the risk of allowing the screener to pop out for an open three, but are you willing to give an open three to an Okoro, a Strus, a Jerome, a Merrill, or are you willing to let Garland and Donovan Mitchell run iso ball against Herro, which we've seen be ultra effective in the first 2 games? It's a pick your poison for Erik Spoelstra defensively right now, and it's why the Heat are down in this series 2-0. And this is going back to a larger conversation that we will have more in the offseason. I love Tyler Herro. He's been a homegrown player with that 13th pick. He made his first NBA All-Star game this year, averaging 24 points per game, and he's been ultra efficient for the most part this year. And in the 4 postseason games, he's played extremely phenomenal in 3 of the 4. But if you're top player, or if, let me just say this, he can't be paid a max contract. He's eligible for a 3-year, $149 million extension this offseason, which is basically $50 million per season. Unfortunately, when he is that piss poor on the defensive end of the floor, he simply can't be paid that max contract. And we'll talk more about this in the offseason for sure, but I'm telling you right now, I don't think I'm trading Tyler Herro, but I don't think I'm extending him $50 million per year. To me, he's a $35 million player, really good offensively, but if you give him $50 million, that's going to be one of the worst contracts in basketball due to his inability to defend. He's a better version of Jordan Poole. I know that's going to sound disrespectful, but Herro is a more efficient, more winning version of Poole. Both don't defend, both can get their buckets, but both can't be top 2 guys probably on a championship team because of their liabilities on the defensive end. More to discuss here in a second, and also looking at some adjustments. But we are sponsored by Prize Picks, the daily fantasy sports platform that I play every single day. And join me and the millions of others right now during the basketball playoffs. Don't miss on your last chance to add your favorite players from the court to your Prize Picks lineup, whether it's points, rebounds, assists. Take your pick of more or less for your shot to win up to 2,000 times your cash today, and turn your playoff hot takes into tickets to basketball championship series. Starting with this round, every lineup you make on Prize Picks will enter you into the Takes Two ticket sweepstakes, which could get you and a +1 a VIP trip to the ship. It's the best place to win cash while watching sports. Join millions of users and sign up today. Whether you can play daily specials on Taco Tuesday, Flex Friday, you can play any way you want. I have a 3-player entry for tonight's action in the playoffs. More than Nikola Jokic, 27.5 points. More than Shai Gilgeous-Alexander, 31.5 points. And I'll go more than Malik Beasley, 3.5 3-pointers made as well. 3-player entry there. But you can win up to 2,000 times your cash when you customize the way you play. Join me and millions of others right now. Download the app today and use code CLNS to get $50 instantly after you play your first $5 lineup. That's code CLNS to get $50 instantly after you play your first $5 lineup. Links in the description and comments of today's video. Prize Picks. Run your game. I alluded to it before we told you about Prize Picks, and I hate to be that guy in his career season and in the middle of a playoff series, but Herro simply can't be paid $45+ million with that type of defense. I think I could justify $40 million. That's the highest I'm going. You want to give him 3 for $120 in an extension? That's the highest I'm willing to do. I think $35 to $40 million is fine. That is what you get paid for being a 24, 25 point per game scorer and a fringe NBA All-Star type of guy. But you can't give him a max extension, and I don't expect the Heat to do so. And I'm telling you right now, if the Heat do give him that max deal where he's getting close to $50 million per year over the next 3 seasons, I will come on here and tell you that is a bad deal for the Miami Heat. So we'll keep an eye on it because he's eligible this offseason. We'll ultimately see what comes to fruition this summer, but I'm letting you know briefly here in the middle of the series what my thoughts are based off what he did this season, his career, and his defensive liabilities. All right, let's get into the Game 3 adjustments. How can the Heat somehow win a game and maybe make this a series back in the 305? Well, the number one adjustment, which it's hard to pinpoint one thing, but we said this before the series started. You can't get Cavaliers. You can't let the Cavs go nuclear from 3. That was one of our series keys to victory. Run them off the 3-point line. You did it a decent job in the second half against the Cavs in Game 2, which is why you came back in this one. You forced them into more tough shots until they got hot late in the fourth quarter again. But you led 25-24 after one quarter. And then what happened in the second period? Yeah, the Cavs made 11 threes. They outscored you 43-27, and the rest was history. You actually, if you go through quarters 1, 3, and 4, In those 3 quarters, those 36 minutes, the Heat outscored Cleveland by 7 points. But they got outscored by 16 in the second quarter due to that Cavalanche. They got nuclear from 3. The Heat's defense fell off of a cliff, and that game borderline came out of reach for Miami. Even though they almost came back and won, it was just ultimately too much to overcome. So on the road, you can't let that happen. But at home, you also can't let them get hot and take the air out of the building. You have to be the team going on a major run, getting the crowd into it. So you cannot let them get hot, make 8 threes in a quarter, even though they made 11 yesterday. Can't let them even make 7 or 8. You got to keep them under wraps. All right, make sure you are subscribed to the channel because we are going to continue to bring you daily content around the Miami Heat this postseason, this offseason as well. Hit that sub button, join the channel. We're almost to 22K. Subscribe today. All right, another adjustment for the Miami Heat. Andrew Wiggins has to play and show up in this series. It's been just absolutely abysmal for Wiggins so far through Game 1 and Game 2. It's honestly been embarrassing. These are the 2 stats for Wiggins, who played 38 minutes in Game 1, but saw his minutes fall off of a cliff in Game 2. And these numbers don't even show his turnovers, when he had 4 turnovers in Game 1 and he had multiple turnovers in Game 2. He didn't play in the fourth quarter. He got benched in favor of Haywood Highsmith and Nikola Jovic, which was ultimately the right decision by Eric Spoelstra because it helped them outscore Cleveland and get back into that game, which made it a 2-point game at one point. Andrew Wiggins, I'm not asking you to be a superstar. Can you just be an above-average role player? Play good defense. You were brought in to be a 2-way wing, to defend on the perimeter and knock down some shots, catch and shoot from the perimeter. Well, you haven't made your shots, you haven't looked comfortable whatsoever, and you haven't really limited the Cavs on the offensive end. If the Heat want any chance in this one, Andrew Wiggins has to be better than what he's shown. I do not think he has a future with the Miami Heat. I hope to be wrong. I hope he turns it around. I just don't see it. He has really struggled in these 2 playoff games against Cleveland. The last adjustment that Miami has to make, and key to victory, if you will, the Heat have to get up big early. In almost the same way that I think the Cavs can't Cavalanche you, you have to get up early. Listen, if this game gets close, you know the Cavs are going to have the advantage late in this game, even though it's in Miami. If the Heat want to win in Game 3, you have to punch the Cavs in the mouth big time. Go up 15. Go up 20. Get the crowd in the 305 rocking a ruckus early in the Saturday afternoon and have that game not even be close late. Now, is it going to be hard for the Heat to do that? Absolutely. Do I project them to do it? No. But if you want the Heat to win in Game 3, I truly believe the only pathway to that is getting out hot, going nuclear from 3 in the first 24 minutes, and holding an 18 to 20-point lead at the half. And even then, I don't think it's going to be safe because we've seen the Heat blown that and how hot the Cavs can get late in games as well. But if the Heat want to win, they have to hold a double-digit lead early, get the crowd into the game early, and let the crowd stay into it. And maybe, just maybe, the Heat are able to get the Game 3 win. But predict it for me. Will the Heat win Game 3? We told you to like the video earlier to get the vibes flowing. Well, now it's time for a prediction. Type W if you think the Heat win in Game 3. Type L if you think they lose. Get your thoughts down in the comment section. I think they lose, unfortunately, just because I think the Cavs are the better team. I think the Heat win Game 4 to avoid a sweep and lose in 5. But how will the Heat respond? They came close, but couldn't get the win in Game 2. Tyler Herro, you got called out by Darius Garland and in front of the entire NBA world on national media, on national TV. How will you respond, Tyler? I don't care about your offense on Game 3. How are you going to bring it defensively? How are you going to prove that you are not the biggest liability on this team? How will Tyler Herro respond? How will the Heat respond to the disrespect Cleveland and Darius Garland showed to your lone all-star? We'll find out on Saturday afternoon. And make sure you are subscribed. Won't be live on Saturday due to obligations here for the NFL Draft, but we will continue to bring you coverage around the Miami Heat every single day, and we will be live for Game 4 on Monday night as well. So hit that sub button for the top content on YouTube surrounding Miami Heat.